Angelina Jolie is best known for her acting, but here at Nomad Capitalist, she gets serious bonus points for putting together one of the most unique passport portfolios of anyone that I've ever seen. Today, I'm going to share with you Angelina Jolie's little-known citizenship hacks. And so Angelina Jolie is a great example of a famous actor who is able to leverage citizenship in different countries, on top of the fact that her work with the UN and different charitable initiatives also helps her leverage citizenship in countries that value someone of her profile, bringing her money, bringing her voice, bringing her talents. She has adopted children and also given birth to children around the world, and that's contributed to having a very interesting portfolio of citizenships. I'm Andrew Henderson. I'm the founder of Nomad Capitalist. We have helped over 1,000 high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals over the last decade to legally reduce their taxes overseas, increase their freedom and optionality with dual citizenship, and take advantage of all the opportunities that the world has to offer. Angelina Jolie, it seems, shares some of those sentiments. She has adopted children all around the world, starting with her first child that was adopted in Cambodia. And so that child is a Cambodian citizen. She had pledged I believe, $5 million to a charitable initiative in western Cambodia's province of Battambang through her work with the UN, and is a Cambodian citizen herself. Whether that was given to her through some exceptional procedure for the adoption or for the charitable initiative or for all that put together, which is often how kind of an exceptional citizenship would work, would be kind of a number of different circumstances put together. All right, we like you. In Cambodia, citizenship by exception goes through the king. And so there is a way that you can make a donation to get it. It's kind of a more opaque process than most of the general citizenship by investment countries. It's more expensive if you're doing it that way. But for her, she had the connection. She had the child from there. And she believed, through her charitable work, this is a country that she wanted to contribute to. And so I don't know that if you were to contribute $5 million, I think you probably could get Cambodian citizenship. I think certainly it's a case where a country like that wants to have her associated with it. Even though most people don't know that, she certainly brought enough acclaim to the country that they would like to reward her. Steven Seagal, for example, was given citizenship in Russia by Vladimir Putin, and then later in Serbia when he promised to open up like a martial arts facility. And so the idea of bringing these people in for publicity is very interesting for these countries. Cambodian citizenship is not a great travel document. Angelina Jolie remains an American. She probably doesn't need an additional great travel document, but it gives, number one, I would say, kind of an emotional connection to the country. So if you really believe in charity in a country, I spent a lot of time in Cambodia. That could be something that's very powerful. She probably can avoid the optics that it might seem weird if you're going certain places, if you're opening a bank account somewhere and they ask what are all your citizenships, like that you're Cambodian. She can easily explain why she was given that. And so the benefits for her would be any kind of personal connection that she feels that citizenship of the country offers, as well as she can buy land in the country, and she has certain travel privileges around the ASEAN region. So as an American, there's maybe a few countries you would need to get some kind of visa to go to in the ASEAN region that you wouldn't have to for short visits as a Cambodian citizen. And again, if some of us were to get Cambodian citizenship and we don't look Cambodian, there might be occasional situations where an eyebrow is raised, but I think that she could clearly get past that. Angelina Jolie's oldest daughter was adopted from Ethiopia, so I would imagine that her daughter has Ethiopian citizenship. I don't believe Angelina Jolie, I haven't seen anything that she has Ethiopian citizenship. However, she took advantage of citizenship by birth in a very exotic place. Generally, if you give birth in the United States or Canada or pretty much most countries in the Americas, your child will become a citizen merely because of their birth there. And so that's why you've seen people come from around the world to give birth in the United States, because they want their child to be American, or now it's in Canada. Those countries don't necessarily want it. They in some cases try and crack down on it. People go to Brazil, maybe they're perhaps a little bit more open to that, or Panama or Mexico. You can also get the benefit of some cases of a residence permit in those countries, and you can then work towards citizenship. But what Angelina Jolie did for giving birth to her first biological daughter was to go to Namibia in Southwest Africa. And so Shiloh is a dual citizen of the US as well as Namibia because she was born in Swakopmund, Namibia. And so Namibia obviously does not have as strong of a passport as the US, but it does have certain travel around Southern Africa and Western Africa. Being part of the African Union, there may be future benefits to that. And so Namibia, I think, is a, like Botswana perhaps nearby, is seen as perhaps a cut above some other countries. And so there are certain countries in Africa that just have a reputation, whether it's with banks or whether it's with immigration offices around the world. I'm not so sure that Namibia has that problem. So there's a number of places in the world you need to get a visa for. I mean, you're not traveling to Europe visa-free, you're not traveling to the US visa-free, but a Namibian passport, if you already are Western, it's kind of a cool thing. And so her daughter was able to have a dual citizenship. Again, I don't believe that Angelina Jolie herself actually holds that citizenship. But she was able to secure that for her child just by giving birth there. Angelina's next children were twins born in 2008. They were born in Nice, France. France, unlike Namibia, unlike most of the countries in the Americas, grants citizenship only based on your parents. So it's citizenship of the blood rather than of the soil. And so while those children will have forever in their passports, place of birth France, they were not awarded French citizenship, although the mayor of Nice made them honorary citizens of Nice and said they'll always be welcomed with great honor, which is worth, in the context of international business, absolutely nothing. But Angelina Jolie has an additional citizenship herself, and this was, according to the BBC, granted to her because she visited the Sarajevo Film Festival and supported her directorial debut of a movie about the Bosnian War. And again, because of presumably her cachet, the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina granted her citizenship by exception. And so exceptional citizenship in Cambodia or in Bosnia, you don't have to live there. Again, the same way Steven Seagal did not live in Serbia or Russia. I believe Gerald Depardieu also given citizenship of that means in Russia without having to live there. And so she's able to be a citizen of Bosnia now. I mean, she can travel on a Bosnian passport. Actually, a very interesting passport in that it was one of about half a dozen passports that can go to Europe, Russia, and China because they have strengthened their relationship with countries further to the east. And so as part of a passport portfolio, I've always thought having a non-EU European passport, potentially in addition to an EU passport, is a great thing to have. And so you've got kind of level of diversification there. And so I think overall, the Angelina Jolie's family has a pretty interesting profile. She's got a child who's Cambodian, she's got a child who's Namibian, she's got a child who was Ethiopian, and then she herself is Cambodian and Bosnian and American. And so the US passport's the one that lets you travel to the most places. It's the one that, of course, lets you live in the United States. But Bosnia, again, you can go to Europe, you can go to a lot of the places, maybe not the US or Canada or some of the places she may be going for her acting and directing. But if you're only Bosnian, that's not a bad passport. You can go to most places in the world. Cambodia, obviously weaker, but because most Asian countries are more off limits to foreigners for certain investments, that would give her more investment opportunities. And it's a very, diversified place, up-and-coming place. And I think that because she has these connections, because she is Angelina Jolie, it's acceptable. Certainly, you could go and do something great for Bosnia, and perhaps they would naturalize you exceptionally as well. It would probably have to be something pretty big because you may not bring the star power and you're not bringing the publicity. Again, the mayor of Nice did the same thing for her family. He couldn't give them citizenship. Only the president of France could do that, and I don't think the president of France deemed it sufficient enough. So there you go. Angelina Jolie's passport portfolio and that of her family. Very interesting, very eclectic, and I happen to think she actually did a pretty good job putting all that together.